This photograph has become one of the most talked about pieces of evidence within the Bigfoot community in recent months. Shared to the Facebook group Bigfoot Believers, it shows what appears to be a large adult Bigfoot partially concealed among the dense foliage of the South Cascades. The image captures a moment both striking and eerie, a figure with brown fur, a pronounced brow ridge, and deep-set eyes peering from behind the trees. Those who have seen the photograph firsthand are calling it one of the clearest and most compelling images of Bigfoot ever captured. The photographer, who wished to remain anonymous, explained that the encounter was as unexpected as it was brief. He reported that while hiking through the South Cascades, camera in hand, he began casually snapping photographs of the forest around him. At one point, he noticed what seemed to be a strangely human-shaped rock formation, partially obscured by trees and ferns. Intrigued, he decided to capture the formation in a photograph, thinking it would make for an interesting subject. At the time, he had no idea what he had actually captured. It was only later, when zooming in on the photo, that he realized the object he thought was a rock had features far too lifelike. The texture of the fur, the depth of the eyes, and the subtle structure of the face all suggested that this was not a boulder at all. Instead, it appeared to be a massive, living creature, blending seamlessly into its environment. The photographer added that as soon as he snapped the image, the figure seemed to roll or duck out of sight, disappearing completely into the thick vegetation. Had he not been looking in that exact direction, he admitted, he would never have noticed it at all. This moment of camouflage and quick retreat has fascinated enthusiasts. Many point out that Bigfoot has often been described in eyewitness reports as an expert at blending into its environment, using shadows, trees, and brush for cover. The South Cascades, with its towering forests, thick undergrowth, and rugged terrain, would be the perfect setting for such a creature to remain unseen. The photographer emphasized how easily the figure could have gone unnoticed, a testament to its remarkable ability to avoid human detection, even in relatively close quarters. The details of the creature in the image are what make it so compelling. Unlike blurry or distant photographs that have circulated in the past, this one clearly shows distinct features: shaggy brown fur, a massive brow ridge that casts deep shadows over its eyes, and a face that carries both human and animalistic qualities. The proportions of the head, with its wide jawline and sunken eyes, appear consistent with descriptions reported by witnesses over the decades. The sheer presence of the figure seems undeniable to many who have examined the photograph, as it radiates both power and mystery. Skeptics, as always, have raised objections. Some have suggested that the image could have been staged using a costume or suit, perhaps with the intent of deceiving the Bigfoot community. However, the unusual circumstances surrounding the photograph raise doubts about such theories. The photographer chose to share the image under a burner account, specifically hiding his real identity. He openly admitted that he did not want recognition, fame, or financial gain from the photograph. This is unusual for a hoax, as those who stage such events often seek notoriety or some form of reward. Instead, this man seemed determined to share his experience while maintaining his anonymity, making it less likely that the image was created for personal benefit. Within the Bigfoot community, the photo has generated widespread excitement. Many longtime researchers have praised its clarity, calling it one of the best images of a Bigfoot to date. The stillness of the creature, its apparent natural camouflage, and the subtlety of its features all contribute to the authenticity perceived by believers. Unlike grainy videos or indistinct shapes in the distance, this photograph provides a direct and chilling look at what could be a living Bigfoot in its natural environment. The South Cascades themselves add another layer of intrigue to the story. This region has long been associated with Bigfoot sightings, with reports spanning back decades. The dense forests, steep mountainsides, and relative isolation make it an ideal place for a large, elusive primate-like creature to survive away from human interference. The idea that such a being could move quietly through these woods, largely unseen, has been reinforced time and again by accounts from hikers, hunters, and locals. What stands out most about this particular case is how ordinary the circumstances seem to be. The photographer was not out hunting for Bigfoot, nor was he part of an organized expedition. He was simply hiking, taking photos casually, and stumbled upon what may be one of the most remarkable images of the creature to date. This spontaneity gives the photo an added layer of credibility. Unlike orchestrated hunts where evidence is often questioned, this was an unplanned encounter with a fleeting glimpse that could have easily been missed. Those who have studied the image closely point to the natural posture and proportionality of the creature. The slope of the brow, the way the fur falls across its shoulders, and the shading of its features are difficult to replicate with a costume. Even the play of light and shadow across its face appears authentic to the forest environment, suggesting that what was captured was physically present in the moment, rather than added or staged. The viral spread of the photograph across Facebook has only intensified the conversation. In the Bigfoot Believers group, members have debated endlessly, analyzing every pixel of the image, adjusting contrast, and zooming in on facial features. Many have declared it to be the clearest photographic evidence ever produced, while others remain cautious, noting that until there is more evidence, skepticism will always remain. Still, the consensus among believers is that this photograph is a significant addition to the growing body of Bigfoot evidence. Ultimately, the photograph serves as a reminder of the enduring mystery of Bigfoot. For generations, the legend of this creature has captivated human imagination, straddling the line between myth and reality. With each new piece of evidence, whether tracks, sounds, or photographs, the possibility that something extraordinary roams the forests grows harder to dismiss. Possible Bigfoot remains discovered on public land in California. The photographs in question have recently caused a stir among online communities dedicated to the search for Bigfoot. Posted to several Facebook groups that focus on investigating the elusive creature, the images show what appear to be skeletal remains discovered on public land in California. According to the uploader, the remains were stumbled upon by chance, lying partially exposed in sandy soil. What makes the discovery remarkable is the suggestion that these could represent the first documented remains of a Bigfoot ever photographed. The first photograph shows a close-up of what appears to be a large, decayed foot-like structure still attached to the lower leg bone. The size and shape have immediately drawn comparisons to eyewitness descriptions of Bigfoot tracks, with broad toes and thick, sturdy build. The second photograph offers a wider view, showing the skeletal frame in more detail, including ribs, limbs, and remnants of tissue clinging to the bones. The lighting from a flashlight highlights the eerie scene, further adding to the mystery of what these remains might be. For many within the Bigfoot community, the photographs are being hailed as groundbreaking. For decades, skeptics have demanded physical proof of the creature's existence, claiming that until bones, bodies, or DNA are recovered, Bigfoot remains a myth. These images, if authentic, could represent a historic turning point in the search for definitive evidence. Members of the Facebook groups where the photographs were shared have been quick to analyze every detail, with some pointing out the unusually large foot structure as evidence that this is not the skeleton of any known common animal in California. Others note the context of the discovery. California has long been a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, with reports stretching from the Sierra Nevada mountains to the redwood forests. The idea that skeletal remains could eventually surface in such a location does not seem far-fetched to many believers. The uploaders claim that the remains were found on public land only adds to the plausibility, as these vast areas are home to rugged terrain and thick forest cover, where such a creature might have lived and eventually perished unnoticed. Although debate continues, the photographs have already cemented their place in the ongoing mystery of Bigfoot. Whether these remains are ultimately verified or not, they represent one of the most striking potential discoveries in the history of the search for this legendary being. A man captured a photograph of a Bigfoot outside his tent. In the vast and uncharted wilderness of North America, tales of encounters with Bigfoot, the elusive and legendary ape-like creature, continue to intrigue both believers and skeptics alike. Stories of strange footprints, eerie sounds, and sightings of large, hairy creatures lurking in the woods have circulated for decades. Recently, a photograph shared by a man who wishes to remain anonymous has captured the attention of the public and reignited the debate about the existence of Bigfoot. The image shows a large, shadowy figure standing just outside the man's tent, a figure that, to many, bears a striking resemblance to the fabled Bigfoot. The photograph, allegedly taken somewhere in the remote wilderness of North America, has since gone viral, with viewers divided between awe and skepticism as they analyze the image's authenticity and what it could mean. The anonymous hiker posted the photo on a popular outdoor and Bigfoot Facebook page, accompanied by a brief description of his terrifying experience. He explained that he was camping alone in a remote area, far from any marked trails or campsites, seeking solitude and an opportunity to reconnect with nature. It was late in the evening, with the forest growing dark and the only sounds being the rustling of leaves and the occasional call of nocturnal animals. As he sat in his tent, preparing to settle down for the night, he suddenly heard heavy footsteps crunching through the underbrush, growing louder as they approached his campsite. Frozen with fear, he remained silent, listening to the slow, deliberate movements outside his tent. Gathering his courage, he grabbed his phone and carefully unzipped the tent just enough to peer outside. What he saw, he claimed, sent chills down his spine. A massive, hairy figure, towering and broad-shouldered, standing just a few feet away. The creature appeared to be staring directly at his tent, its eyes gleaming in the dim light. Acting quickly, he snapped a photo before the creature turned and disappeared back into the woods. The photograph, which has since been widely shared online, shows a tall, dark figure outside the tent. Despite the low light conditions, the image captures enough detail to reveal a large, humanoid shape covered in what appears to be thick fur. The figure's silhouette is unmistakably broad, with long arms that hang by its sides. Although the facial features are difficult to discern, many viewers noted that the outline of the head and shoulders resembles the classic descriptions of Bigfoot, a tall, muscular creature with a cone-shaped head and powerful build. The ambiguity of the photograph has led to intense scrutiny and debate among enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Supporters of the image's authenticity argue that the details match those of other reported Bigfoot sightings, from the massive size of the figure to the proportion of its limbs. They believe that the photo is one of the clearest and most compelling pieces of evidence to emerge in recent years, offering a rare close-up glimpse of the creature. Others, however, remain skeptical. Critics argue that the image could easily be staged or manipulated, suggesting that the figure might be a person in a costume or even a well-crafted hoax designed to generate attention. One of the most controversial aspects of the photograph is the lack of specific information provided by the anonymous hiker. While he claimed the photo was taken in North America, he refused to reveal the exact location or even the state where the encounter occurred. This decision has fueled speculation on both sides of the debate. On the one hand, some believe that his anonymity and reluctance to disclose the location are signs of authenticity. Perhaps he fears ridicule or unwanted attention if he were to reveal his identity. Others argue that if the photo were genuine, he would have nothing to hide and would want as much information as possible to be shared so that researchers could investigate the area. The online community has responded passionately to the post, with opinions sharply divided. For believers, the photo represents a breakthrough, a rare and valuable piece of evidence that could help prove the existence of Bigfoot. Many users expressed their support for the man, praising him for his bravery in sharing the image despite the inevitable skepticism. Some even shared their own stories of strange encounters in the wilderness, arguing that the image fits with the descriptions and sightings reported by others over the years. Others have taken a more cautious approach, expressing interest in the photo while acknowledging the lack of verifiable information. They argue that while the image is intriguing, more evidence is needed before any definitive conclusions can be drawn. They called for experts in photo analysis and wildlife tracking to examine the image more closely, hoping that further investigation might yield more insights. Whether the photograph is authentic or not, its impact on the Bigfoot community and beyond is undeniable. The story highlights the enduring allure of the Bigfoot legend, a mysterious creature that continues to captivate the human imagination, especially in regions like North America, where vast wilderness areas remain largely unexplored. For those who believe, each new sighting or photograph represents a tantalizing possibility, a chance to uncover the truth behind one of the world's most famous cryptids. The photo also illustrates the challenge of proving the existence of such a creature. Even in the age of smartphones and high-resolution cameras, most evidence remains inconclusive, often shrouded in ambiguity or accompanied by unverifiable claims. Yet, it is precisely this mystery that keeps the legend of Bigfoot alive. The possibility that, somewhere in the depths of the forest, an undiscovered species continues to evade human detection. Trail camera photo captured in the summer of 2024 shows a large, hairy humanoid. In the summer of 2024, a remarkable and controversial photograph emerged from the depths of the Washington wilderness. A man named Mr. Harper, an avid outdoorsman and wildlife enthusiast, captured what many believe could be the clearest image yet of Bigfoot, the elusive and legendary creature that has fascinated people for generations. The image, taken from a trail camera Harper had set up to monitor wildlife activity, shows a large humanoid figure covered in dark, shaggy hair walking through the dense forest. Washington state has long been considered one of the most likely habitats for Bigfoot. The state's vast stretches of forest, rugged mountains, and remote, unexplored areas provide the perfect environment for a large, elusive creature to evade human detection. In fact, the Pacific Northwest region as a whole, including parts of Oregon and Northern California, is well known for its Bigfoot sightings. For decades, people have reported encounters with the creature, describing it as a tall, ape-like being covered in fur, often walking upright like a human. Mr. Harper, who has lived in the state his entire life, was well aware of these stories. As a wildlife enthusiast, he frequently explored Washington's wilderness and had always been curious about the local Bigfoot legends. While he remained skeptical about the existence of the creature, he decided to place trail cameras in remote parts of the forest near his property, hoping to capture images of deer, bears, and other wildlife. Little did he know that his camera would soon capture something far more extraordinary. In mid-July 2024, Harper went to retrieve the memory card from one of his trail cameras, which he had set up deep in the forest, about 15 miles from his home near Mount Rainier. It was an area where he had previously spotted a variety of wildlife, and he was eager to see what the camera had recorded. As he scrolled through the images, he initially saw the usual shots of deer, raccoons, and the occasional black bear. However, one image stood out, a figure unlike anything he had ever seen before. The photograph showed a large bipedal creature walking through a clearing in the forest. The figure was covered in thick, dark hair from head to toe and stood at what Harper estimated to be over 7 feet tall. Its muscular frame and long arms suggested a creature of immense strength. The head appeared slightly cone-shaped, and although its face was partially obscured by foliage, the broad shoulders and upright posture were unmistakably humanoid. Unlike the common animals he had photographed before, this figure had no resemblance to anything Harper could recognize. Harper was stunned. He knew the trail camera could not be tampered with, as it was securely mounted and located in a remote spot, far from any hiking trails or human activity. After carefully inspecting the image to ensure it was not a digital glitch or a prank, he became convinced that he had captured something extraordinary. Without knowing what else to do, he decided to post the photograph online, sharing it with both the Bigfoot community and his own circle of friends. The response was immediate. Once Harper's image was submitted to social media pages, it quickly drew the attention of both Bigfoot enthusiasts and skeptics. Believers praised the photograph as one of the most convincing pieces of evidence to emerge in recent years. The clarity of the image, combined with the apparent size and posture of the figure, led many to argue that this was the closest thing to proof of Bigfoot's existence. Some even claimed that the image matched descriptions from other sightings in the Pacific Northwest, with the cone-shaped head, long arms, and shaggy hair being consistent with previous reports. Several members of the cryptozoology community reached out to Harper, eager to learn more about the location of the sighting and to investigate the area themselves. Harper, however, was cautious about revealing the exact spot, worried that an influx of people could disrupt the local wildlife or compromise the integrity of the site. Nevertheless, he cooperated with a few researchers who visited the area, hoping they might uncover additional evidence, such as tracks or hair samples. On the other hand, skeptics were quick to criticize the image. Some argued that the photograph, while intriguing, could easily be a misidentification of a common animal, such as a bear standing on its hind legs or a person wearing a costume. Whether real or not, Harper's photograph has added a new chapter to the ongoing legend of Bigfoot. It has reinvigorated the debate about the existence of the creature and prompted renewed interest in the vast wilderness areas of Washington state. Enthusiasts have begun organizing expeditions to search for additional evidence, using Harper's sighting as a guide. Some researchers have even set up their own trail cameras in the area, hoping to capture another glimpse of the mysterious creature. For Harper, the experience has been both exciting and overwhelming. While he never expected the photograph to gain so much attention, he remains open to the possibility that the figure he captured could indeed be a Bigfoot. At the same time, he acknowledges the need for scientific analysis and further investigation to validate the sighting. He continues to work with a small team of researchers, hoping to uncover more evidence and provide a definitive answer. Bigfoot droppings found. The dense forests of the Pacific Northwest have long been considered the epicenter of Bigfoot lore. Recently, a new claim has surfaced, one that has reignited interest in Bigfoot's existence. A hiker exploring the remote trails of the Pacific Northwest claimed to have discovered what he believes to be Bigfoot droppings, a discovery that has sparked debate among the cryptozoological community and intrigued both skeptics and believers. The hiker was trekking through a dense forest when he stumbled upon something he had never seen before. While navigating a narrow trail deep in the woods, he noticed an unusually large mound of droppings along the path. The man, an experienced outdoorsman with years of hiking experience, was immediately struck by the size and appearance of the feces. At first, he thought it might belong to a large animal, such as a bear, but upon closer inspection, he noticed certain features that did not align with the droppings of any known animal in the region. The man described the droppings as being significantly larger than those of a bear, with a more cylindrical shape. The texture and appearance suggested that it came from a creature with a mixed diet, with some suggesting that it could consist of plant material, seeds, and what appeared to be small bones, perhaps from small animals or fish. The hiker immediately suspected that he had stumbled upon evidence of something extraordinary. He carefully photographed the droppings, took note of his GPS location, and even collected a small sample, placing it in a sealed plastic bag for further examination. Upon returning from his hike, the man shared his discovery on various online forums dedicated to Bigfoot sightings and research. He posted photographs of the droppings and provided a detailed description of the location and the circumstances under which he found them. His post quickly gained traction among the Bigfoot community, with many enthusiasts expressing excitement over the possibility that these droppings could provide evidence of the elusive creature's existence. Some members of the cryptid community argued that the size and composition of the droppings aligned with previous reports and theories about Bigfoot's diet. Given that the Pacific Northwest is filled with abundant wildlife, plant life, and water sources, it is believed that a large primate like Bigfoot could thrive there by consuming a varied diet similar to that of other omnivores, such as bears. The inclusion of small bones and seeds in the droppings supported the idea that the creature might be opportunistically feeding on small animals and fish, as well as foraging for berries and other vegetation. The location of the man's discovery also added to its credibility in the eyes of Bigfoot researchers. The remote forests near Mount Hood are known for their dense foliage, steep terrain, and lack of human presence, ideal conditions for a large, reclusive animal to exist undetected. Several Bigfoot sightings have been reported in the area over the years, and the region is considered one of the prime locations for those searching for evidence of the creature. His discovery of the droppings seemed to fit into this pattern, suggesting that he may have stumbled upon a habitat frequented by Bigfoot. In the meantime, the man said that he planned another expedition to the area, this time with a small group of fellow Bigfoot researchers. Their goal was to set up trail cameras and search for other signs of Bigfoot's presence, such as footprints, broken branches, or additional droppings. By returning to the site, they hoped to gather more evidence that could support or refute his original finding. The ongoing debate over the droppings has highlighted the challenges and complexities involved in research. While the discovery remains unproven, it has nevertheless sparked interest in the region and drawn more attention to the possibility that Bigfoot could be roaming the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Some in the Bigfoot community view the discovery as a potential breakthrough, while others remain cautious, awaiting more substantial evidence. If the droppings the man found are eventually proven to belong to an unknown species, the implications could be significant. Finding physical evidence of Bigfoot would be a milestone in the field of Bigfoot research, offering tangible proof that this legendary creature is not just a figment of imagination or folklore. It could potentially spark a new wave of scientific interest in the Pacific Northwest, leading to more expeditions and research into the area's wildlife and ecosystems. Man captured Bigfoot while hearing tree knocks. Tales of these elusive humanoid creatures, sometimes called Sasquatch, have been passed down through folklore, and even in our technologically advanced age, sightings continue to be reported. One such account recently emerged from a social media user who claimed to have encountered a Bigfoot deep within the woods. His description of the encounter was vivid and detailed. He claimed the creature saw him, picked up a stick, and performed a classic tree knock before disappearing into the forest. However, despite the detail of his account, he did not provide a specific time or location, leading to both intrigue and skepticism among his audience. The social media user shared his story on a popular Bigfoot discussion forum. In his post, he described being out in the woods on a solo hike, exploring a dense and remote area far from the main trails. He claimed the atmosphere was calm and still, with only the sounds of birds and rustling leaves to accompany him. As he moved deeper into the forest, he felt an unsettling sensation, as if he were being watched. It was then that he saw it. Something massive standing just a short distance away. At first, he thought it might be a bear, but as he looked closer, he realized that it was unlike any animal he had ever seen. The figure was tall, well over 7 feet, and covered in dark, matted hair. Its build was muscular, with broad shoulders and long arms that reached almost to its knees. The face, although partially obscured by the shadows of the forest, had a distinct humanoid appearance, with deep-set eyes that seemed to lock onto his. For a moment, they stood still, staring at each other. The user described feeling both terrified and fascinated. Then, to his surprise, the creature slowly bent down and picked up a large stick from the ground. It held the stick in one hand and struck it against a nearby tree, producing a loud, resonating knock that echoed through the woods. This behavior, known as tree knocking, is often cited in Bigfoot lore as a form of communication used by these creatures. After making the sound, the creature paused, as if waiting for a response. When none came, it glanced back at him one more time before turning and vanishing into the dense foliage. Tree knocking is a behavior frequently reported by those who claim to have encountered Bigfoot. Enthusiasts and researchers believe that these knocks may be a form of communication, either to signal others in the area or to establish territory. Some even speculate that it could be a way to warn other Bigfoots of a nearby human presence. The fact that he reported seeing this behavior firsthand lent some credibility to his story among believers, as tree knocking is a well-documented phenomenon in Bigfoot reports. However, skeptics argued that this detail could also be an indication that the story was fabricated. They pointed out that tree knocking has become such a well-known behavior associated with Bigfoot that anyone with a basic knowledge of the subject could include it in their story to make it seem more authentic. Critics on the forum noted that while the tree knock added an interesting element to the encounter, it also could have been an intentional addition designed to draw attention. One of the major points of contention surrounding the story was the fact that he did not provide a specific time or location for the encounter. The timing of the encounter was another missing detail. Without knowing when the sighting took place, whether it was years ago, months ago, or even more recently, those interested in investigating the claim were left with little to work with. The lack of information made it difficult for any meaningful follow-up, turning what could have been an exciting lead into a mystery that remained unresolved. The reaction to his post was a microcosm of the larger Bigfoot debate that persists in popular culture. On one side were the believers, who were fascinated by the account and eager to engage with the user. Many praised him for his bravery in sharing the story, and several claimed that they had experienced similar encounters involving tree knocks or sightings of large, hairy creatures in the woods. As of right now, whether or not the man's encounter was real, his story highlights the enduring fascination people have with the mystery of Bigfoot. The details he provided, such as the creature's physical appearance, the intense eye contact, and the tree knock, fit the profile of many other Bigfoot sightings and behaviors reported over the years. However, the lack of a specific time and location casts doubt on the authenticity of his claim, leaving the community divided between believers and skeptics. Mysterious creature captured on trail camera. In the dimly lit expanse of the night woods, an unexpected figure appears. The figure, crouched and unmistakably humanoid, is believed by many to be a Bigfoot, one of the most elusive and debated creatures in modern folklore. Trail cameras, also known as game cameras, are commonly used by hunters, wildlife enthusiasts, and researchers to monitor animal activity in remote areas. Equipped with motion sensors and night vision capabilities, these cameras are ideal for capturing images of nocturnal wildlife without disturbing their natural behaviors. In this particular instance, a hunter had set up several trail cameras in a secluded forest, known for its dense vegetation and sparse human activity, hoping to capture images of deer or other local wildlife. During the night, one of the trail cameras triggered, capturing an image that would soon become the subject of intense scrutiny and debate. Upon reviewing the footage the next morning, the individual was stunned to find the silhouette of a large, crouched figure. Unlike any known animal, the figure appeared to be humanoid, with a bulky frame, long limbs, and covered in dark fur. The images captured by the trail camera show a creature approximately 7 to 8 feet tall when standing, judging by the surrounding vegetation. Its posture is crouched, suggesting a moment of stillness or an attempt to remain concealed. The body appears muscular and robust, covered in thick, dark fur. The arms are notably long, extending well past the knees, a characteristic often reported in Bigfoot sightings. The creature's crouched position might indicate several behavioral contexts. It could be foraging, observing its surroundings, or even attempting to avoid detection by staying low. This position aligns with numerous eyewitness accounts of Bigfoot sightings, where the creature is often described as cautious and aware of its environment. The images quickly gained attention after the individual shared them with local wildlife experts and researchers. The public reaction was a mix of fascination and skepticism. For enthusiasts and believers, the images provided compelling evidence supporting the existence of Bigfoot. Researchers and specialists in the study of creatures like Bigfoot conducted detailed analyses of the images. Noted researchers pointed out the proportional differences between the creature in the image and known wildlife species. They highlighted the limb length, muscle definition, and posture as distinct from those of bears or other large mammals in the region. While the primary interpretation of the images leans towards Bigfoot, alternative explanations have been proposed. Some experts suggested that the figure could be a known animal caught at an unusual angle, leading to misidentification. Others posited the possibility of a human hoax, although the remote location and the camera's time-stamped automatic functionality made this less likely. The trail camera images reignited the debate over Bigfoot's existence. They provided a modern piece of potential evidence that could be analyzed with contemporary technology. This incident highlights the role of technology in these types of investigations, offering tools to capture and scrutinize evidence in ways that were not possible in the past. The pregnant Bigfoot. Sightings of this elusive bipedal ape-like creature have been reported across North America for decades, yet definitive proof remains elusive. However, in 2023, an extraordinary event occurred in the dense forests of Washington state. A man named James Whitaker captured a clear photograph of what appeared to be a pregnant Bigfoot, tenderly holding its stomach. Mr. Whitaker described that he was exploring a remote section of forest in Washington state. The area was far from any human habitation, and Whitaker had ventured deep into the woods, hoping to capture images of his dog in the region's woodland. Equipped with his Canon camera, he was prepared for a day ahead of him. However, nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to encounter. As Whitaker moved quietly through the forest, his dog refused to move, and he noted that this was something his dog had never done before. It was at this point that he noticed an unusual movement in a clearing ahead. Carefully advancing, he saw a large, hairy figure partially obscured by trees. Initially thinking it might be a bear, Whitaker raised his camera and zoomed in. What he saw through the lens left him speechless. The figure was unmistakably humanoid, covered in dark hair, and stood approximately 8 feet tall. Its most striking feature was its swollen abdomen, which it cradled with one large hand. The man quickly snapped a photograph before the creature noticed his presence. It looked directly at him for a brief moment, before turning and disappearing into the forest. Upon returning home, Whitaker reviewed the images. This photograph, which was the clearest, showed the creature in sharp detail. Its face, though partially hidden by fur, had distinct features, deep-set eyes, a pronounced brow ridge, and a broad, flat nose. The creature's abdomen was clearly enlarged, suggesting pregnancy, and its hand rested gently on its stomach, a gesture that conveyed a sense of tenderness and awareness. When Whitaker's photograph was made public, it quickly gained traction online, sparking widespread interest and debate. Enthusiasts hailed the images as some of the best evidence yet for the existence of Bigfoot, particularly the notion of a pregnant female, which suggested a thriving, reproducing population. Skeptics, however, remained cautious, calling for more evidence and questioning the plausibility of such a creature remaining undiscovered in modern times. People outside of the Bigfoot community had a mixed response. While some said that this photograph is much clearer than 99% of Bigfoot photographs, others said that it was too clear and suggested it was a fake. Numerous Bigfoot researchers expressed their frustration with this, saying that skeptics consistently want higher quality photographs, but when this happens, they immediately dismiss them as fake due to them being too clear. Many compared this to the Bigfoot that was captured on the Patterson-Gimlin film. One of the primary arguments for the creature in the Patterson-Gimlin film being female is the presence of what appears to be an enlarged chest. The figure's chest shows two prominent pendulous masses that move naturally with its gait, suggesting mammary glands. Anthropologists and primatologists have noted that the depiction of such anatomical features would be difficult to fabricate convincingly, especially given the technology and materials available in 1967. The idea of Bigfoot, particularly a pregnant female, continues to captivate the human imagination. Whitaker's photographs and others like it reignite public interest in the mystery of Bigfoot and the broader question of what other unknown creatures might inhabit our world. The Bigfoot River Encounter. In the serene and tranquil setting of a golf course at an undisclosed location, an ordinary day took an extraordinary turn when a man, simply seeking leisure and sport, inadvertently captured a moment that has since sparked considerable intrigue and debate. As the man approached the green, he noticed movement out of the corner of his eye. Turning towards the river, he saw what appeared to be a large, hairy figure moving through the water. At first, he thought it might be a bear, but the creature's upright posture and bipedal gait quickly dispelled that notion. Realizing the potential significance of what he was witnessing, the man instinctively reached for his phone and began taking photographs. The creature, which stood approximately 7 to 8 feet tall, had dark brown fur covering its body. It moved with a fluidity and grace that seemed almost human, but its sheer size and appearance were anything but. The creature paused briefly, as if sensing it was being watched, before continuing its crossing and disappearing into the dense forest on the other side of the river. The man's photograph was clear and detailed, capturing the creature mid-stride as it waded through the river. The image showed a broad-shouldered figure with long arms and a muscular build. When the photograph was shared to Bigfoot groups, they were quickly shared. For many believers, the photographs provided compelling evidence supporting the existence of Bigfoot.